Welcome back, everyone, to continuing coverage of Super Bowl 59 here in New Orleans at Radio Row for Front Office Sports. I'm Baker Machado, and I'm so excited to be joined by Browns legend, Bernie Kosar. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, over here.
Thank you. Honored to be with you.
Before we get to some of the nitty-gritty about the games and everything, I got to ask you first, I know you've had some health issues. How are you doing? What's the update on some of this?
Well, thanks for asking. We had a little bit of a premature obituary sighting of me a couple weeks ago where they announced my passing and stuff. So as you can see, this is not an AI generated shot right
very
now.
Real. Bernie is very, very
realistic here to be here on Radio Row at the Super Bowl and to be cognitively present here too and to feel good as a guy now after 60 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 100 concussions, almost 15 seizures. Heck, the last couple seizures had me in a coma for 72 and 96 hours. I'm not proud to say, but when I retired in 1997, I started getting a lot of those surgeries. So from about most of this century, most of 3 decades, I've been on north of 80 to 100 pills a day.
Oh, Bernie.
So to have situations where you're on exorbitant amounts of pain medications, Adderall, Vyvanse, then sleeping meds at the end of the day.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's an epidemic state within our country going on with that right now. And I love my number 19. Thank you so much for talking about my Cleveland Browns days. But that's the amount of people that will commit suicide in the state of Ohio today. There's over 100 people that have died in the last 7 days just in the state of Ohio from the fentanyl overdose deaths. Those, whether it's the OxyContin pills, the Adderalls, the Vyvanse, the same things are happening with Adderall and Vyvanse that happened with OxyContin, and now they're not writing scripts for them, so people are going to the streets, and 7 out of 10 of those pills are laced with fentanyl, and you're seeing the overdose deaths. I'm not proud to say here on national TV, but I should have been one of those statistics.
We're so happy
when that happened. So I don't say here today in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life to brag or to look good and stuff. But as a man here who's used to play football, it's not something that men like to admit. They don't want to admit that I have cognitive decline, that my mind and my body is deteriorating. And how do you gracefully age and still have a quality of life in a sport and in an environment that I love where I grew up, but it's incredibly chauvinistic and doesn't allow men to be so open about being introverted, being on the spectrum, managing anxiety, dealing with some of my friends who have committed suicide, me having them thoughts and figuring out the old Jimmy Johnson line, somehow, some way to healthily come out the other end and still be cognitively present. I was told 7 years ago I have 5 years left. The cognitive brain function. Couldn't say cognitive. I couldn't enunciate, articulate, communicate any multiple syllable words. So now to be able to find some holistic stuff, I'm really trying to spread that message for originally with some of my older teammates and guys I competed against. But I also made some of the mistakes as a 37-year-old father in the year 2000. That when I was getting scripted for north of 100 milligrams of Adderall, my 12 and 11-year-old daughter was getting scripted for Adderall herself. And this an epidemic thing with ADHD within schools now where it was 10, 11, 12. Now it's 5, 6, 7-year-olds getting scripted for that. It's really a lifetime sentence. So figuring out healthy, holistic ways, not just for myself to be here constantly present, but now the next that generation of my oldest daughter is now having kids, and they were your age guys that were the ones that were scripted by us parents, and we need to undo the mistakes we did to your generation. Bernie, I apologize to you and your generation.
Bernie, you don't have to apologize at all, by the way, Bernie, and I love that you're destigmatizing this and talking about this, because the only way you sort of can enact change is by discussing this, especially when it comes to mental health. And we've actually seen more athletes talk about mental health, I think, than ever before, which I'm sure is also very welcoming.
Yeah, and again, this was taboo to even come to say it in this meeting, on the air, off the air, in the locker room for sure. And I'm so blessed as a trustee at the University University of Miami, and I do You Matter. And I don't do it for the UM, but I do it for talking about people for self-confidence and self-esteem and saying that you do matter and stuff. But I've been blessed to have some really good doctors like Dr. Roizen and Dr. Oz, and some of the stuff that we're able to do with functional medicine and holistic lifestyles. It's really game-changing.
Bernie, we're happy you're here, and I'm even more excited to talk football with you. I'm curious, as a quarterback, how exciting is it to watch somebody like Patrick Mahomes just continue week in and week out, continue to light it up and just be an incredible ambassador for that position?
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm going to show my age, but I used to throw the sidearm like Patrick Mahomes. I didn't have that athleticism like him. So I do want to show him some of the health and wellness, because my elbow is a disaster these days from that. But it's well worth it when you could play like Patrick Mahomes. And I know sometimes nationally people are having maybe possibly a little Kansas City Chiefs fatigue and stuff. Not me.
No.
Okay, I'm massively a fan of the Kelseys from the Cleveland Heights days, but Patrick Mahomes and his resourcefulness, and I love Andy Reid, and I love what they do as a complete team, and us QBs, which I'm really biased towards, and we are victims or beneficiaries of the guys around us, just like life. But Patrick Mahomes in crunch time is so special, and his resourcefulness is just beautiful to watch.
Let's talk about the quarterback position for your team, the Browns. You know, obviously Deshaun Watson has had spurts and ups and downs with the team. Do you hope to draft a quarterback? Do you hope that the Browns pick up quarterback, maybe Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? And what do you think the Browns need to do at quarterback?
So it's a lot more festive talking about the Kansas City Chiefs being in the Super Bowl with the awesome Patrick Mahomes right there. There's a little less issues in Chiefs world than there are in Browns world and stuff. And fortunately, unfortunately, I can't disagree with anything you said. You astutely point out, unfortunately, the situation the Browns are in. It being early February, you do have time to determine on that. You really do need to develop and see the depth of the quarterback draft and to see what's up with Deshaun and the healing of his Achilles. And then what's up in the veteran quarterback free agent market. There will be stuff there. And then I'm biased from the University of Miami, but not just because of that, but Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, to me, I know people are saying this isn't a great quarterback class. Well, those two guys I'm incredibly impressed with. I really enjoy watching both those young men throw the football. I love the calmness of their lower body and the way they're able, their feet and hips, just actually throw the accuracy of their throw with their presence. So I think they're either team that gets one of those two men are going to be super
I
impressed.
agree with you, Bernie. You're a Miami guy. I'm a Colorado Boulder guy. So either one of our guys, I think, will be terrific if the Browns are able to get him. And by the way, even Travis Hunter, if you're able to get him, also an added bonus. That's a great addition. Myles Garrett, though, I got to ask you: Are you sad as a Browns fan, and are Browns fans? Do you feel reflectively sad about the situation with Myles Garrett?
So I'm a massive Myles Garrett friend. Okay, and of course also with the Browns. So I'd like to also think that I'm in the know and able to anticipate these type things happening. This is one of the ones that really kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't really looking for it to happen. And as a guy now in the maybe late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life, like I was saying, I'm living a little more in Disney World, and my Cinderella's castle doesn't want to admit that it's happening because the football team is better with a Myles Garrett on it.
Yeah, Bernie, we love you here. We're rooting for you. We're excited for all the things that you got coming up. You say third quarter. I still say it's halftime for you, Bernie.
Thank you, brother.
We got so much coming up. More on Radio Row coming up for you here with Front Office Sports.